What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Balanced Perception YouTube channel, and today we're back with a brand new printer. That's right, up until I'd say the last year and a half or so, I was using all Creality. Then I switched over to Bamboo / Creality, so I still have 4 P1Ps along with I don't remember, 5 or 6 Creality V2s, CR10 V2s, yeah, and V3 combinations. So we're actually going back to Creality today. I'm entering the K1-Max series, the K1 series. Again, this is the Max version, the one with the 300mm build volume plate, because that's what I need for a lot of my larger props. So we're gonna unbox it, get it set up in its position, so let's check it out. So as I said, today we will be unboxing the K1-Max. I'm hoping for really good things from this printer. I've had lots and lots of luck with my CR10 V2s and V3s. Granted, they have, required a bit of maintenance, and they have given me a bit of problems when I first started, but now that I've got those ironed out and I removed that terrible, absolutely terrible extruder that comes, stock factory with it, got rid of that, upgraded it to the Micro Swiss, and everything's been golden ever since. So I'm hoping this printer will essentially do the same. I won't have to do many upgrades for it, as that Micro Swiss drive was $110 per printer. At about 4, 5, 6 printers I'm gonna have is about $600. So yeah, I'm hoping that this one prints out the box very nicely as my P1Ps do. I have had a few issues with them, nothing too major, just a few clogging issues, which debatably may or may not have been my fault. We're neither here nor there. So enough about those printers. We're gonna go ahead, unbox this sucker, see what we got, and get it set up. So let's hop to it. All right, guys, so here it is. I finally got out of the box. It took a little bit of effort because, again, this thing is massive. This is a refurbished model, and it does look pretty, decent. I don't see any significant dings. Of course, the glass is not broken on anything. I'm not too sure about the display panel here. We'll see what's going on with that. But overall, it seems to be in pretty decent shape. So we're gonna go ahead, get everything, going on this, connect everything. I'm not gonna show you guys that because there's tons of videos for that. And we're gonna move it, put it into place, and see if we can get it actually fired up and check it out. So be right back.
A few moments later.
All right, guys, so we got the printer up here on the table, and it's doing the self-check or whatever that it's called. It went through nozzle heating, heat bed heating, heat break fan, main board fan. Now it's going to something called input shaping, and then it'll go to auto leveling. I hope all this works out fine. Again, this was a refurbished K1-Max. I'm not sure if I told you guys that, so I did get it for a little bit cheaper than a brand new K1-Max. Overall, everything again seemed to be fine with setting this up. I do see a little tiny piece of filament in here, which I'm sure came from the previous owner, or I don't know, when they were testing it over at Creality or wherever they tested it, I'm not sure. But so far, it seems to be so good. The heat bed, or the bed, went up from the bottom all the way to the top, and nothing is failing. So praying that it all goes well. I will admit I am not looking forward to ever having to work on this, as just like the P1P, it is very, very constrained and very tight. So there's not much space to work in there like in the original, the old CR10s. Again, that's a much older printer like the ones I have. There's a lot more space to work, and things are a lot simpler. Everything's not connected to sensors and cables everywhere. Much simpler to use. But anyways, I digress. I won't, reminisce on the old days of 3D printing. We're going to jump into the new era here, see how this goes. I will jump over to Orca Slicer to show you guys, using that instead of the Creality software, because I've never had good luck with Creality software. So we will be jumping over to Orca Slicer to get our first print going on this. And you guys know me, I like to go big or go home. So we're probably going to start with a 1-day print. Now, you know what? I'll go ahead and do like a 10-minute print and then start to a 1-day print. But you know, that's what we're gonna go with next. I also will comment on that this printer is a little bit noisier than the 3 Bamboo P1Ps I have surrounding it. They are, they're noisy, don't get me wrong, but this seems to carry a little bit more noise. As it is a lot bigger, that does make sense. I will just go ahead and pan for you guys. You can see the Bamboo right there, and then the K1-Max right here. So again, this one right over here, let's just rotate it back. Build volume of 256 by 256 by 256 on the K1-Max here. Build volume of 300 by 300 by 300. So yeah, I will be printing much larger items on here, which is exactly what I bought it for. Anyways, I digress. Let's hop over to Orca Slicer and let this self-check finish. Guys, so here you can see my, Orca Slicer. I have some projects loaded in here that I need to, print eventually, but whatever, that's just loaded in here. What you're going to want to do is hop over here and select Creality K1-Max or K1, whichever printer you're going to be connecting. For this one, we're doing the K1-Max, which I have up here. And this is just a copy because I don't want to show everyone my IP address. But yes, this is just a copy. So once you see that here that you've selected Creality K1-Max, you're going to select right here the connection, little Wi-Fi icon. Pops up. You're going to enter in blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Say whatever your IP address, and then the little test button will appear. Once the test button appears, or it's clickable, you're going to click it, and then you'll probably receive some type of 404 error or some type of refresh error. That doesn't matter. All you're going to do is hit OK. Once you hit OK, I will show you guys what you get. It'll basically go back to here. So I'm going to select the one that's actually connected. So this is my K1-Max. Just discard that. The one that I have connected. When you select device up here, you will be able to see your printer. Voila. So this right here is my K1-Max that I just set up, and we are connected. So I'm going to go ahead and try to see if I can get a print going. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and load up some filament. To do that, all I had to do was hit the little settings icon here. You'll see like folders or tabs at the top. You hit extract, retrude, and I hit extrude because obviously that's what we're going to be doing. Wait for it to heat up, and then we're going to, push the filament through and let it finish. So letting it finish heating up right now. Okay, so it took a little bit of time, but I finally got it to extrude. It's a little bit more difficult to push filament through this one than it is through the Bamboo. I'm just going to see if I can get it to extrude a bit more for you guys. You can see, let's go ahead and up the camera here. Boom, right there. Hopefully you guys can see that little bit. That's extruded. This is whoever the previous user was. We've got the gray that came in here, as the filament I'm using is PETG Gold. So to get the filament through, it has to go all the way through this cable up here, but the angles are very sharp. I'm wondering if that's going to cause an issue later on. And as you can see, it's extruding currently. So, I know that the filament is being pulled, but I don't like the angle at which that's happening. So I think I saw on somebody's channel there's an upgrade for the plate up here at the top that I can get a bit more space. We'll look into that. But for now, it is in fact extruding, so I know we're good. We're going to move on to the next step, which is actually printing. So stay tuned. All right, so we just started our print, and as you can see, it is doing its thing and hopefully trying to print. I hope everything goes well here and it does not scrape my bed. I would be very upset, and yeah, I would not like if that happened at all. So let's see. Right now the process seems very similar to the Bamboos, where it's doing the up and down vibration thing, and I guess doing some type of test to make sure that the plate is where it says it actually is. But let's see if this goes according to plan. Alright guys, so as you can see, it is in fact printing. There are a few tiny little spots that are kind of worrying me, but nothing of too great a concern. This should end out, should work, should go perfectly fine. It's got the little line streak, whatever, like the Bamboo has over here when it first started printing. So we're going to let this go ahead and go, and hopefully everything will be alright. So I'll see you guys in about an hour. Alright guys, so we have just finished our print. It took exactly 1 hour and 1 minute to finish. So picking it up off the bed here, they do come right off, and you definitely can't see that, but the quality is alright. Honestly, just from the first look, I will have to say I'll probably have to dial in the settings a bit more, but it's not terrible. It will do for now. But very first print done, and let's check it out a bit more. All right, guys, so it has been exactly 29 hours and 29 minutes, and our print is finally done. The very, well, technically second print that we've had on our K1-Max, and it came out pretty well. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit for you guys. That's as close as I could probably get it right now and get it to still look decent. But we'll look at it a little bit closer when I go to the table. But long story short, I had a few issues, and one came down to the actual temperature along with the filament type, and then I switched to a different type of, well, a different brand of the PLA, and everything changed. So we'll discuss that a little bit, but basically this is it in its glory, the very first large print we have completed on our K1-Max. All right, guys, so it's actually been a few days. I did have to work out a few kinks with this printer, but I'm gonna go over all of that really quickly. So if you guys do purchase one, you won't make the same mistakes that I did. Starting off first, these printers, or at least mine, runs PETG and PLA a little bit hotter than my Bamboos run them. So I did have to up the temperature. I think it was about 250 for my PETG, and I think it was around 230 for my PLA. But the printers, well, yeah, I think every single one of them, hopefully because mine does, yes, it does have a guide right on the bottom of the printer that tells you what temperature to run for each filament. So I was just using my original settings that I was using for my for my CR10 V3s and for my Bamboo P1Ps. I did have to up the temperature a little bit to get these to work. The second issue that I had, well, before I jump over to that, that is why this helmet, I redid another one, didn't come out as well. It definitely did better, but we had the issues here at the top, and that was just due to heating and also my second problem, which was filament. I've never had issues with filament before. I've run everything from Sunlu to, JO to what other filaments? I mean, all kinds of filaments, Ilegu. And the very first time I've had trouble with filament was when I used this here, Kingroon, I think that's how you pronounce that. It does not do well in my Bamboos, and it does not do well in the CR10, the K1s. I don't know why, it just doesn't like it. It didn't do well. I swapped out this filament back to my old trusty JO. Everything was solved. It adhered better, the lines were less, everything was just better when I switched back to this. So I will no longer be purchasing, well, this is a one-time experimental thing. It was on sale, so I thought I'd try it out. Lesson learned, not going to use this anymore. And for our third issue, this printer, unlike the Bamboos, you have to calibrate them. There's a whole thing inside of Orca Slicer where you just do this whole calibration sequence. You can find it on YouTube if you just type in calibration Orca Slicer. That has to be done before I really got good prints out of this, and I had to adjust the Z offset. This is not anything I had to do with my Bamboos. I literally took them out the box and basically they printed, as soon as I hooked them up. These take a little bit more work. The quality, I definitely, started to get nicer quality once I did the calibration and once I got everything done. But yeah, that very first print was a rough learning curve. But that's to be expected with Creality. All of my Creality printers have been that way. I know that, I'm in for a bit of a journey when I get a Creality printer. That's usually how it goes, at least for me. Again, in the background, my CR10 S5, that printer gives me absolute hell. I need to work on it right now, and I have it disassembled. I got some stuff I need to do on it. But again, a 500 by 500 print volume or, build plate, you can't really complain at that because you're printing very large things, so, whatever it is, what it is. But back to the K1-Max. I love it so far. I'm pretty sure I'm going to order another one. It seems to be a really great printer. It's a lot faster than my CR10 V2s and V3s. To give you an idea, this helmet is about a 3-day print, so 3.5-day print on my CR10 V2 and V3. On this, it's about 18 hours. So that's a drastic increase. Now, it does worry me sometimes because just like the Bamboos, when you're printing at that much faster of a speed, if something goes wrong, it goes really wrong. If you get a jam, you get a big jam. If you get a clog, you get a big clog. If it messes up, you waste tons of filament because it is printing so fast that, if you don't catch it very soon, then you are gonna have a much bigger issue on your hands. But I definitely look forward to what I'm going to do with this printer. I'm sure you guys are going to see it in a lot of videos. It is extremely loud. I hope you can't hear anything in the background right now. I mean, I have 3 Bamboos running, and I think this one printer is still louder than maybe 2 of my Bamboos put together. Not all 3, but it's just, you know, for you guys, a very loud printer if you're thinking of getting one. I do need to print the modification that allows me to raise up this top glass plate so that I can, you know, allow heat to come out while keeping the glass plate on. That's probably the next thing I'm going to print. But as for now, you know, we're just going to see what this thing can do, the reliability of it, and if it's startable. So yeah, I look forward to many things in the future with this printer. That's pretty much going to do it for this episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you look forward to seeing things come from this printer. And of course, check out my store. I'm always adding new items. Today, I just added Blinky from Hunter x Hunter. I forget the girl's name from the Phantom Troops. She used the vacuum cleaner, AKA Blinky. So I just added that to the store. So go check that out if you are a Hunter x Hunter cosplayer and interested in getting that item. But that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys so much for checking out this episode. And until next time, stay boundless. See you all. Bye-bye.